I'm reviewing these Brothless Dan Dan Noodles from Family Mart, Japan.
何にしますか?
So this looks like spaghetti. If you look there right on the pack there, it looks kind of like spaghetti, but look at the title there. It says Brothless Dan Dan Noodles. Now, I saw these being reviewed on another Japanese food review YouTube channel, and they were raving about them. So I thought I just had to try them. Now, they're frozen, so you have to go to the frozen section in the convenience store to find them. So if you don't buy frozen food in Family Mart all the time, you might have trouble finding them, but have a look around. They're definitely there. They're a big seller. So the packaging is really, really nice. The picture's fantastic, isn't it? Look at that. It looks so delicious. So Dan Dan Noodles, I guess they're popular all over the world. They're like a spicy noodle, and they come from the Sichuan province in China, which is famous for its super spicy food and really delicious food at that. So what does the name Dan Dan actually mean? It's kind of a funny name, isn't it? Well, supposedly it's the name given to, you know, like you have the street vendors who have like a big pole on their shoulders and they're carrying like some food in the market or something. I guess back in the day, they used to have the noodles on one side and the sauce on the other, and they would walk around town selling Dan Dan noodles. So this pole was called a Dan Dan, or a Dan, I'm not too sure. So as I said, it does look a lot like spaghetti bolognese or some kind of pasta dish, but it's going to taste completely different. So the ingredients are minced pork, chili oil, Sichuan peppercorns, and sometimes even sesame paste or peanut butter to give it like a creamy, nutty flavor. So this is quite famous for being creamy. But the original Chinese version is more kind of soupy and with a strong, like a spicy kind of a numbing heat. But because this one is made for the Japanese market, they've put their own take on it. So it's kind of richer, milder, and more creamy than the traditional Chinese one. So it's probably, this one is probably a bit more suitable for me. Now, so let's have a look at the product a wee bit closer. So one pack contains enough Dan Dan noodles for one person. There's 582 calories in there. Now, really look at the back of the packaging to see how to make it, because it is kind of complicated. You just got to make sure you take off the little spice pack at the top there. See the little purple pack there? That's the spice pack. So take it off and put it this way up when you're heating it up, and that's it heated. Look at that, looks just like pasta, doesn't it? So I added a soft-boiled egg and some cucumber, a bit of cilantro there, just to give it a bit of color. And it looks rather rich and amazing, doesn't it? The sauce didn't smell like tomato sauce, I can tell you that. It looks really rich. So I gave this a good mix in a separate bowl to make sure it was completely covered. And if you add a soft-boiled egg, it just kind of takes the edge off of the heat and makes it that little bit more creamy. Now you can also add on the spice. They give you various recommendations about how spicy to make it. I think it's in 3 steps, so be careful with that. So as I said, it says here on the back of the packaging here how to heat it up. It kind of, maybe they're making it overcomplicated than it should be, but if you've got your phone, you know, just kind of take a photo and try and translate the language into English or whatever language you speak, just to make sure you don't have any mishaps. But when you do put it in the microwave, it blows up like a big balloon, but don't worry, it's not going to explode. And remember to take off the little spice pouch, which is sitting on the top, because they say you shouldn't be putting that in the microwave. That's what it looks like. Looks like a pancake. You can see the noodles on the bottom look like that, and then the sauce is on the top. So you have to take off this little packet of spices and just stick it with the sauce side up for about 7 minutes in a regular microwave. Wow, it's a pretty long time. Hot off the press, there we go. So that's what it looks like when it's heated up. Nothing to write home about really. So the sauce is still on the top, of course, and the noodles are at the bottom. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to transfer it into this big bowl and give it a bit of a mix through, because it just looks more aesthetically pleasing that way. And there we go, that's what it looks like. So have a close-up look at that. You can see it's all coming together. It does look just like pasta, doesn't it? But I'm going to fancy things up a little bit here. cucumber, which I cut up in my house this morning. Now next what I'm going to do, I'm going to add a really soft boiled egg, which is called an onsen tamago, which is a hot springs tamago. They look like this. They come in actually packs of 3, one's missing, and you get a little pack of flavoring here that you can have with the egg, but I'm not going to use this part today because the noodles have enough flavor. But I'm going to crack one of these eggs and stick it in the middle there to make it more creamy. And because I'm feeling extra fancy today, I'm going to put on some cilantro or coriander, which I picked from my garden this morning. Aren't we fancy? And we shall stick it on here like so. Wow, Delia Smith, eat your heart out. That's all I can say. And we can't forget the spices, so I'm just going to put a little bit on because you know, I'm not really all that crazy about spicy stuff, to be honest with you. So there's actually quite a lot in this little tiny package here. Okay, so first, how does it smell? It smells kind of nutty and creamy. I'm really getting the sesame. It doesn't smell particularly spicy. And in the product description for this, it says one of the key points about it is the mochi mochi noodles, which are supposedly nice and kind of chewy. They've got a little bit of bite to them. So also that you can enjoy the texture with this one as well. So first, I think we're just going to go straight in here. They've been lightly seasoned with the chili, and excuse the slurping. The first thing that it kind of hits you is the creaminess. If you've ever had like regular Chinese tantan men, which usually comes in like a soup, these are so much creamier. And the spices are starting to kick in round about now. But yeah, the thing that's coming across is the nuttiness, the sesame taste. It's a lovely, rich flavor. Wow, my lips are already getting all orange. Oh no. And today I was wondering what kind of drink to have with this. Because it's a spicy thing, I'm just going to have a glass of iced water. 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 Or as we say in Glasgow in Scotland where I come from, water. And now, where was I? So let's go in for a bit more. See if I can get a bit more of the spice on it this time, because there was just a little bit of spice on it last time. Yeah, the noodles are really kind of springy. They kind of nice and bouncy texture, I should say. And they go really nicely with this. Because funny looking at it, I can't stop thinking it looks really like a tomato flavor, but it's completely not a tomato flavor. It's so untomatoey. And we got to break the egg open here. Ready? This is the big moment. Bum, ba, 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 bum, boing. Oh. And we'll mix that through. So how does it go with the egg? Oh, I'm looking forward to this part as well. Oh, it's almost coming into some kind of Chinese carbonara. And as maybe you've seen with a lot of Asian cooking, they have like these dishes here, and then suddenly they have a big chomp of a vegetable or garlic or something. Maybe if you've watched other food videos like Mongolia or China, it's quite common to have like fresh veggies on the same plate as something hot like this. So supposedly it aids the digestion and the enjoyment of the whole process, because you get a big variety of textures, flavors, hot and cold and all that kind of thing. So it just makes it all the more fun. Now, there were probably 2 little pieces of green vegetable in here. I don't really know what they are. It could be like a long onion or something like that, but I think they're just a token gesture. But actually pretty tasty and quite crunchy at that. For frozen food, the quality is absolutely fantastic. I'm going to give this 8 out of 10. The price is also fantastic. It only comes in at $2 US, which is, I think it's 298 yen. It's really, really cheap. And for the quality you're getting and the amount, it's a really good thing. It will fill you up. You only need this. And I jazzed it up with some cucumber, an egg or something. You could add a side salad you can pick up in the Family Mart, something like that. So thanks very much for watching and cheers. See you in the next video.